Welcome to Metaphysical Hippie Chicks 2.0, where open minds meet and every conversation weaves another thread into the fabric of reality, seen and unseen. I'm your host, Susanna Messeri, psychic medium and author of Living Beyond Death. My co-hosts are Annalisa Bastiani and Terry Scalia. Join us as we journey through consciousness, mediumship, channeling, and authentic and sustaining spirituality. So let's get busy with some soul work and raise our consciousness together. Today we're going to be talking about spiritual bypassing, what it is, and how you can recognize it. And this episode is for educational and entertainment purposes only. And our episode should not take the place of medical, legal, or psychiatric advice. Everything that we talk about in our episodes is experience-based, and we offer different ways of dealing with things in everyday life, and just information that you may find valuable and that may help you. So, I'm here with my besties, of course, with Annalisa Bastiani and Terry Scalia. And so, I'll just say a few things about what spiritual bypassing is, and it began... Well, it had no beginning because nobody named it. We all, at one point or another, did it, and people are still doing it. But since the 1970s, spirituality has become an industry. The global spiritual services market, as of 2025, has reached around an astounding $190 billion. Digital platforms and e-commerce has surpassed $5.7 trillion as of 2022. I want some of that money.
Clearly, I don't have some of that money.
Clearly, I don't either.
I thought we got in the wrong business. Apparently, we're in the right business. We're just not doing it right.
People are spending. It needs to come to us a little bit. All right, so spiritual bypassing was coined by psychotherapist John Wellwood in the 1980s. And spiritual bypassing is seeking enlightenment and transcendence using spiritual practice and ancient wisdom to avoid the deep and sacred work of understanding ourselves as human beings and all of our vulnerabilities, our emotions, and our patterns of behaviors and our traumas. So spiritual bypassing appeals to those escaping pain through a spiritual fix, but it blocks shadow work and authentic integration. In spiritual communities, it thrives among seekers dodging therapy or accountability for their own actions, feelings, and how they make choices in their life. So here we go.
Toxic positivity.
Yes, yeah, all of that. So getting on board with toxic positivity is people believing in all love and light and being all positive, throwing kisses to everybody, not literally, but figuratively, skipping down the sidewalk, blowing kisses, throwing flowers. Any other ideas?
Well, I think just because this is something that is usually an unpopular opinion, I have never been the kind of new age hippie chick that loved all that toxic positivity.
Yeah, me either.
I didn't really like the New Age movement when it started to become that and only that because it felt very condescending. Like, my life is great because I believe only in positivity. And you're so you silly little unintelligent thing, you suffering through your life. I'm like, this is all BS. This is all. Like,
I'm awake and you're not.
Exactly. And I hated being around that. So I kind of dipped out of a lot of the New Age stuff. And
Well, I have to admit and be honest here that when I first started getting into spirituality, that was like the road I went down.
Oh, everybody did.
Yeah.
At some, to some degree and at some point.
Yeah. Eventually, over the years, I learned that you got to deal with your shit.
Exactly.
Or you can really reach that enlightened state that everyone wants to be in. You have to deal with your crap. You have to deal with your traumas. You have to deal with all the negativity in your life. You gotta do the work. You can't, just like anything that you want to achieve, it's not just going to drop in your lap. You got to work for it.
Yeah.
And part of that is dealing with your crap.
Yeah.
The only way to the other side is through. Bypassing isn't going to do anything except keep you stuck, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree.
And I'll be 75 in 2 weeks. And I'm Yeah. I'm still dealing with my stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to go ahead and talk about what we talked about last night, Annalisa.
Okay.
I called Annalisa last night because I just needed to talk about this. Now, I didn't have the greatest childhood. There was abuse and violence, and not towards me. Well, yeah, it is. It really is a form of violence. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I have spent years way back in the 80s and 90s in therapy off and on to deal with things about my mother. And I have done a lot of work. I've done huge amounts of work and growth. And this is what true spirituality is. Dealing with and taking responsibility for what you feel and how you deal with your own traumas and things that happen to you in your life. Because this happens to almost everybody. You know, everybody I think has some form of, trauma in their life. So anyway, I listen to audiobooks while I'm driving, and I was sitting, waiting. I'm not going to say where I was waiting, but I was listening to a podcast, and the woman who was doing the podcast, was doing like a life coaching session with someone. And this woman was talking about her childhood and things that happened to her and how her parents were towards her. And she had a pretty good childhood. She was extremely smart. And I had something come up that I had not really realized could be a trigger. I kind of put it in the whole ball of wax of the abuse that I received when I was growing up. And so I had never picked it out as an individual experience and what it did to me. But man, I was listening to this yesterday and that memory popped up for me and I was in tears. And there was a day, I must have been around 12, I guess, and I was leaving the house. We had a house in Miami. That's where I grew up, was Miami, and our house was built on stilts. And so our first floor was like higher than the height of a car. And we had concrete steps. And I was going out to play, and my mother was behind me and kicked me. And like she was trying to kick me down the stairs, and these were concrete stairs. Now, I think I blew it off at the time, thinking, it's just another thing that mother did. But I sat there crying yesterday thinking, how could any parent, how could any mother kick their child and take the chance of that child falling down the stairs? And I was just, why was that triggered now? And so I started just concentrating, I guess, on how I was feeling. Why this came up now when it's never come up before. It's a memory that I've never forgotten, of course, but it's something that I didn't deal with, I guess, because it was all in that whole ball of wax of my experience with her. But it popped up yesterday, and I'm thinking, why did this happen now in my life? Why did this particular memory come up, and why did it come up right now? And so I was trying to match that memory with what I'm doing right now in my life and where I am as a human being, as a person, as an independent and confident person. How does that fit into my life right now? And I wasn't quite sure. And so I had called Annalisa last night. And let me tell you, people, she is a very, very good medium. My mother came through and gave information, and which I won't go into because it was very personal. But this is what the work is all about, is when things come up like that, we look at it. We look at the emotions. We look at the power of the emotions, and we take a look at what it meant at the time, even though the act of what my mother didn't send me flying down the stairs, but I sure as hell felt the intent and the meanness behind it. So it's not the act itself. It's what I felt about the act.
Exactly.
Yep.
And how could a mother do that?
Right.
So this is what This is what true spirituality is. This is what helps us grow. This is what helps us evolve.
And it's messy.
It is.
It's
Very
okay
messy.
to be messy.
It's painful. It's painful and messy. And we all have had experiences in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times when we use spiritual bypassing, there's one form of it is victim bypass, which is people who, let's say, for an example, label themselves as an empath.
Oh, God.
Or a starseed. This is just wrapped up in, somebody who may have poor boundaries.
Yeah, exactly what it is. It's trauma response.
Yeah, because we are all empaths.
Everyone's an empath.
Everyone is an empath.
Yeah.
And if you use that as an excuse, I pick on, I get everything. I can't do that. I'm an empath and I can't pick up, set your fucking boundaries.
You're going to be bleeping a lot of this stuff out, aren't you?
Well, this is going to be an episode marked as graphic content.
Exactly. I don't know if you remember, Susanna, but when you and I were studying together, there was somebody in our class who was very good at playing the victim and everything was happening to them. And, I can't walk in a room because I'll just, I'll feel everything. And I think another classmate of ours, the response was so blasé. Well, you better work on your boundaries. It was just like, I'm not taking this crap.
That's classic.
It doesn't mean you're a special psychic. It means you have lousy boundaries.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the need to feel special. Exactly. When you call yourself a starseed or an indigo, adult indigo, or I have indigo children.
Yep, I'm special.
You're special. You're set apart from the group. That's all spiritual bypassing. And then you get the aggrandizement bypass where somebody feels superior. That, I'm spiritual, you are not. I have all the answers.
People.
We encountered that in our class too.
Yeah, we know somebody like that.
Mm-hmm, we do.
Yeah, we do.
Are we being judgy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's check ourselves, ladies.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
I mean, everybody is where they are supposed to be. The journey to getting to the end where we want to eventually be is a really long process.
Yes.
True.
So,
very true.
I was the victim for a huge chunk of my life because of all the trauma that I went through when I was a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And an adult. I took on the victim role. I said, why does this always happen to me? Why do I always da-da-da? Why does da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And it came to a point where I had to stop and say, what am I doing that's causing this to happen to me? Yeah. I have to take accountability for what I'm doing. Those people are doing what they're doing in order to get me to realize that I'm doing something wrong for me. It's almost, I started looking at it like they're giving me a gift. They're putting all of that negativity in front of me and pushing it at me because there's something within me that needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
And so that's when my work started. That's when my work started.
Yeah.
Once I started taking accountability for my own life.
Yeah.
Well,
my own decisions.
I think you would agree with me, Annalisa, that the way this person was actually he did us a favor.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
We're at the point where we're over what happened, so we can make fun of it.
Yeah.
And he just went on to do damage to other people.
His own coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And hopefully
because that was his. Yeah, go ahead.
And hopefully he's at this point figured out.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
We found out no.
Some people you choose a really long road.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lifetimes, maybe even.
Yeah. No, I've heard within the last couple of years that it hasn't changed. But anyway, that there was an aggrandizement with this person. And that happens with a lot of gurus, a lot of teachers, and it all masks, superiority masks insecurities.
For sure.
And let me see what else.
I mean, not for nothing, when you get a certain amount of intense interaction with strangers that now want you to give them all the answers, there's a power dynamic that happens that you may not be, emotionally intelligent enough to work with. And I think that's a whole other story about how power and fame can really mess with you and you become a different person sometimes.
Yeah. There's also prayer or guide bypass. Outsourcing responsibility to higher powers instead of taking action. Like the universe will provide. God will provide.
That was hard for me.
Or I'm going to say something judgy here.
Go for it.
Okay. Give it to the Lord.
Yes.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Top that. Like, I mean, I don't know about you guys and your past religious affiliations, but that was definitely ingrained in me at a very young age. Give it up to your suffering.
Recovering Catholic.
Ditto. And that was one of the main things that you did was that you skinned your knee, give the pain to Jesus. You want something better. It was almost like there was Santa and there was God and you prayed to both and let's see who gives the gifts. Who does it? Now, if I ask Santa for this and I ask Jesus for this, let's see
what are you going to get? Yeah. Okay. So how to recognize spiritual bypassing, emotional suppression. You dismiss anger, grief, or anxiety as illusions or low vibrations, opting for positivity instead of feeling them fully. You deny them and try to cover them up with positivity. And then there's over-reliance on spirituality, prayer, affirmations. Gurus replace therapy or accountability, avoiding personal responsibility. And that's what it's all about. Take responsibility for yourself.
Yeah. And like you said, Terry, it is a journey and it takes getting to that point. You displayed an incredible amount of emotional intelligence getting through that. Not everybody is going to be that emotionally intelligent and it's going to take longer. It's going to take, or it never happens. It
could take the whole lifetime, but that may be their plan, their life plan.
Exactly. This is what they came to experience.
Exactly. This could be the life that I chose. Well, I'm going to back that up. This could be one of the lives that I chose in order to get to the point that I am now. I probably went through multiple lives to get to this point.
Yeah.
But you got to do the work. There's no escaping it. We all know, all spiritual people know that you come here to evolve, to learn how to evolve. And that doesn't mean going and finding a guru that's going to tell you all these really nice things and then you're going to be all fixed. No, you have to do the work. You just have to. There's no getting around it.
That's another thing about human beings. And we all do it. I mean, I'm not saying that we're perfect or we're above anybody else. We're not. We're right there on the front lines with everything, just like everybody else is. And I'm having a senior moment.
That's 99% of my life right now.
People like to they want somebody to tell them what to do, how to do it, and when to do it.
Sure.
I want somebody to tell me the same thing.
I do too.
Yeah, me too.
I'm exhausted with trying all the different ways that have failed, Somebody else fixed it for me.
Yeah. It's normal. It's normal to feel that way. But do that for a little while. Just give yourself a certain amount of time to feel that and then get on with business.
Yeah.
It's going to be painful. It's going to be messy, but it's going to also feel good in the process too.
Especially when you really have accomplished letting go of something important.
Yeah.
And by letting go, I don't mean ignoring it. I mean literally experiencing it and then releasing it.
It's a way of integrating your experiences and not having, because the energy of what we experience in life is always with us. That never goes away. It is our experience. A lot of times people, their experiences and their traumas settles in their body. So there's sickness and all kinds of illnesses that can happen because that trauma has settled in our body somewhere, in our muscles, in our cells. And you were talking about I forgot where I was going to start with that. What did I start saying?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
I'm having a senior moment.
Sorry. The trio.
This is what 75 looks like.
How fair is this? What 57 looks like.
Anyway, so, just take responsibility for your life, for your thoughts, for your feelings. Oh, I know what I was going to say. All right. So the emotions, that energy is always with us. That's part of our identity. Right. But when we can take a look at our traumas, when we can integrate those traumas within us and we kind of neutralize the charge of those emotions.
Exactly. It desensitizes it.
Yes. When you can take a look at something that happened to you and you can look at it objectively and you can look at it as an experience without getting triggered with emotions.
Yes.
Then you've done your work.
Exactly. And I didn't believe that would work that way. Like when I was going through the thick of whatever I was going through, I thought this is going to feel like this forever. It's not something that's going to dissipate in intensity. It was a fear of mine, obviously. And then when you actually do the therapy, do whatever practices that work for you, you realize, yes, that thing is still there. You can still remember it. It's still a memory, but it has not the power that it had.
Right.
It's not intensity.
And we are the ones that give it power.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nobody else does. The person that trespassed against us, the memory, our experience doesn't give them power. We give power to our reactions.
Exactly.
And how we deal with it.
Can I share something?
To have those reactions. Sorry.
Can I share something a little personal that I'm kind of going through right now with having to do with this? So, I had a lot of trauma myself with my mother, years and years and years and years and years, even into adulthood. I mean, decades of trauma with this woman. And I finally did no contact like a little over 2 years ago with her because I just couldn't do it anymore. I needed her not to be in my life at all. Now she doesn't live near me. She doesn't live in the same state as I do. Thank God. But this 2+ years has been a godsend, for me to be able to, I don't know, to heal from it. And now I'm at a crossroad here where she's 90. She's getting ready to be 91 this month, actually. And she was just recently, in the hospital with pneumonia. And, 90 plus year old person in the hospital with pneumonia could be, a really bad thing. And they said it was a slight pneumonia and we're just going to keep her overnight. Well, they ended up keeping her like 3 days. And during those days, I'm thinking to myself, I need to finish this because I don't want to have the anger that I still feel toward her. Now, granted, the anger has dissipated a tremendous amount, but I still have this residual crap that the hurt I still feel. And I don't want to have that lingering when she finally passes because I'm just going to be blunt here and say, I don't want to have to deal with this bitch again in another life with the same stuff. Right.
Right.
So I want to get it over and done with now. So I'm kind of stuck with, do I go see her? And maybe no. I can't. I'm talking myself right out of that because she's not going to understand. So I have to do it inwardly. Mm-hmm. I have to do it inwardly. And this is really hard, because before she went into the hospital, I was thinking she's just going to die and then I'll go to her funeral and it'll be done. But then when she went into the hospital, I started thinking, oh my God, I still feel like I haven't resolved stuff completely. So now, so just me talking through it here, I realized that this is an inward thing and not something that I have to do with her.
And isn't that incredible that you just showed that to us? Mm-hmm. Because that is part of the process, is really just going within, checking the feeling. Okay, I want to go visit her. No, I don't. So for your health and benefit, you do not want to do that. Going no contact and setting your boundary was exactly the right thing to do. And everything else that happens now is going to be your internal work. Mm-hmm. You don't have to engage with the drama, the abuse anymore.
Yeah.
And you've chosen that for yourself, and that's amazing.
And I want to apologize. I shouldn't have called her a bitch. That was horrible. I shouldn't have done that.
I don't know.
Stop.
Kind of reality.
Stop.
Okay, I'm putting on my spiritual glasses here. I'm going to look out of my spiritual eyes here. She came here to teach me this thing, right? This massive thing.
Hey,
so
backstage, you all know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So to call her a bitch, I think is kind of unfair. And
I disagree.
Okay.
Of course, that's how you feel, and I respect that. Thinking of my own person, there was mental illness involved. Mm-hmm. There was a hysterectomy with no hormone replacement therapy, which in that generation, it was, women had to suck it up, deal with it. So that didn't help the emotional and mental state. But I love my mother. I deeply love my mother. I never hated her. I understood her. Even as a young child, I understood her. Never hated her. But there was a lot of damage, and I have no qualms with saying that she was mean, that she was a bitch, because that's what she was. But she's not that anymore. She has totally dropped that persona that she had in this lifetime. That's not her anymore. She's not that personality anymore. She is one of my biggest supporters, and I love her deeply. Doesn't change the fact that she was mentally ill, she was a bitch, and she was mean. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's
Personally.
absolutely true. I mean, when we pass, from only my experience as a medium, all of that negative stuff, if they've reached a certain vibration, has gone away, and their personality is still their personality, but without the horrible negative side of it. I've had experiences where someone came through and they were not completely free of that.
I have too.
But those are usually to tell the person that that's who they, that's who I've come across. Because if I'd come across with this love and they love you and blah, 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 the person would have been like, you're full of shit. So a lot of times every soul is different. Every experience is different. So you're going to have, kind of an array of people coming through at different vibrations. But I will say, when I tapped into your mom, the love was that kind of love, that unconditional love that we all kind of strive for, that we'll never see necessarily here. And it was amazing, because the feeling of it was so incredible to me. She is your biggest cheerleader right now.
Yeah. And she came to me twice. It took her 40 years of our time for her to come through, but she was waiting for me to be ready, because there was so much that I had to process. And twice she has come to me, and she has just enveloped me with unconditional love. And this is not the type of love that we experience here in human form. It doesn't exist here in our reality, this type of love. It's that type of love that we will experience when we are in spirit form. I'm sorry?
It's moving.
It is.
It's so moving.
I mean, it's the most incredible feeling. And when she did this, it was around me. It was through me. It was connected deeply with her. I want to cry.
I'm crying over here.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It was the most extraordinary feeling. So she loved me the best way that she knew how. Now, both my parents were straight out of World War II. I was born 6 years after World War II ended. My grandparents and great-grandparents experienced World War I. And so a lot of parents from that generation, they were alcoholics, they were smokers, they were traumatized, deeply traumatized, not only because of how society viewed and raising a child, but they came out of World War II and World War I with deep traumas, which were not addressed. And so that just gets passed down generation to generation if people don't stop, like the three of us have, and put our foot in the door. They didn't have the resources and the awareness that we have today to do inner work. It was all hidden.
suck it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we weren't allowed to talk about things, and everything was kept in secret. And so when I hear people bashing spirituality in some respects, like, oh, one of the New Age things is allow this, allow that. Well, yes, we need to allow. We need to allow ourselves to feel what we're feeling. We need to allow people to be who they are, because we can't change anybody. Everybody's going to do what they want to do.
True.
We don't have the power to change someone. So we allow them to be who they are. So there's a lot of things about this New Age stuff that I just, it makes me, just shake my head. So anyway.
It's fun. It's still fun, I mean, there's all sorts of new things to learn, and I find that stuff really fascinating and exciting. I just have to keep my judgmental self.
Well, we've experienced so much, and everybody has, but not everybody gets involved with their own experiences. Is the only way that I can.
Very interesting way of saying that. Yeah.
And I don't know. People grow at their own pace. This is not a school here. We're not graded. We just do things at our own pace.
About experiences. I used to think it was about being in school here. Mm-hmm. But what I think now is really just we come down for the experiences. And then how we react to the experiences is how evolution happens.
Mm-hmm. Abram tells people, think of this reality as a playground.
It's a great way of looking at it.
It takes all the pressure off of, we're here to learn lessons, this is happening because I did this, because of karma. Stop.
Just experience it.
Yeah.
Don't analyze it. Just experience it and feel all the emotions attached to it, and then move on.
Because again, it's all choices.
It is.
Okay, that's another thing about all these people on YouTube who say their channels are mediums, and people who just flock to them. Yeah. There's no substance to what they're talking about. There's no substance of growth. And a friend of mine said that this like pseudo spirituality is addictive, and it's like candy, and it's like being nourished by proper food, by food that doesn't have chemicals in it, food that sustains us and gives us energy as opposed to empty calories. When you're eating food that gives you empty calories, you just keep going back for more and more. You just eat more and more. If you're completely nourished by healthy food, that doesn't happen. And this is a revelation that I had after that conversation that I had with her, is that the people keep going back to it because they get that dopamine, that shot of dopamine, but it doesn't last. It's not fulfilling.
And in fact, it crashes. You have like whatever fast food that satisfies you in the moment, but then that crashes hard. So you have to go back for something. It's not just, oh, I'm hungry again. It's, I need this.
Mm-hmm. Terry, what is that therapy you were talking about? The somatic therapy.
The somatic therapy. I don't really know too much about it. I just started researching it this morning, honestly. It is a therapy where you are bringing up your traumas and feeling them with your whole body. Your whole body's involved in it. And I don't really know how, I haven't really looked into it enough as far as the process goes, but I have seen videos of retreats where people are going through this type of therapy, and they're essentially laying on the ground, and they're putting themselves back into those traumatic experiences that they had, and they're feeling every feeling attached to it, whether it's anger or sadness or whatever. And they have this really strong reaction. Their body has a really strong reaction to it, and they have to move through that. And they're crying and they're screaming and they're kicking and and they're having all these emotions tied to that one specific event in their life. And that is and what that does is it releases that trauma from your body, because trauma in your body, trauma can just wreak havoc in your body. many different ways. You have all these illnesses, and I'm not saying all illnesses are the result of trauma, but a lot of illnesses are. We make ourselves sick because we hold in and we squash down all of those feelings of the traumatic experiences that we've had in our life. So you got to release that. So the therapy is actually helping you to do that, to release it so it's not affecting you the way, because some people walk around, they go, oh, I don't have any trauma. I think everybody has some trauma. Everybody has some trauma.
Yeah.
And like my brothers, for instance, they're like, oh, our childhood was great. Just get over it. Just move, let it go. It's, mom and dad did the best they could, and, just let it go, let it go. And so they walk around and they're living their lives like it didn't affect them at all. Like, hey, I was a kid, blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. I'm calling serious bullshit on that. Okay. Yeah. Because it comes out, the trauma comes out and manifests in the decisions that you make and how you feel about things. And you don't really realize how trauma can affect your whole entire life, even though you're not even thinking about the incident. It affects you. It affects the decisions that, like I said, decisions that you make and how you feel about something, how you express yourself in relationships and all of that stuff. It comes out. It's going to come out one way or another. Mm-hmm. Let's do it in a healthy way and do it so that you're not further damaging yourself and others.
True.
Yeah. So I went on Amazon this morning and I bought a book, and I'm going to do some, I've been in therapy for quite some time, on and off, especially my whole adult life. And my therapist uses EMDR for my traumas.
What is that?
They use it. It was discovered. I don't know when it was discovered, but they use it. Essentially what it is you go through a trauma, which is housed in a specific part of your brain, and they're taking that trauma and they're moving it to another part of your brain, the part of your brain that can actually work through it. Because where it's sitting right now, it's stuck. And so they move it to a different, and the way they do it is they do rapid eye movement. And so they use this EMDR with guys in the military who have been in Iraq and wars and, have very traumatic experiences. That's how it first came about, was they used it for them, and it had a very profound effect on their PTSD. So I have complex PTSD due to it not being a specific trauma, but multiple traumas. So it helps me a lot. But I like the idea of this somatic therapy because I think it can, look, I'm 68 years old. I'm not going to be around. I don't want to live to be 100. Okay. I'm done with this place. So, I am going to get rid of this crap. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to work through it. If I have to do somatic therapy and EMDR and what was it? Vagus nerve work and all of that stuff. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to get it all done. I'm done. I got to get this out. I got to get this out of me.
I concur.
So.
I love it.
I don't want to carry this shit to my next life. I don't.
No, and I don't want to come back with like, oh, now I have to learn this and this.
Exactly. I'm like, no. Let's just get this over with.
That's why I know it's harsh to joke about this, but I would never unalive myself because
me either.
I don't want to come back and do it again.
Is that what it's called these days?
Yes.
Being unalive?
On this platform, it is unaliving.
Yeah, exactly. But life is hard, and it's not supposed to be easy. Yeah. Life is hard. So do the work. Nobody gets a free pass here.
It's interesting. We talk about the empath thing where everybody was suddenly an empath and how it kind of excused behavior because I feel too much. I remember before getting fully into this that I thought, well, maybe that's it. I'm an empath. That's why I'm highly sensitive. I'm too sensitive. Everyone tells me I'm too sensitive. That was a trauma response to having to have my head on a swivel every time I went into a room to make sure I was going to follow whoever's lead, whoever's emotion was happening. And this is not my parents. My parents were saints. But there was somebody in my life where I had to actually just like, okay, who are they today? What's their good response going to be today? And my head was on a swivel 24/7 trying to figure that out. That's not being an empath. That's protecting yourself. But I think a lot of all through that.
Hyper vigilance.
Exactly.
I'm very hyper vigilant. I'm very sensitive to people's emotions and reading the room and all of that. That has to do with all the trauma that I went through from my parents.
And I hope. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I hope everybody recognizes that, especially, and this is the best example right now that I can think of, is that if you came from a home of alcoholic parents, that we had to develop a skill of reading the room, reading the people, always constantly stepping on eggshells. Yep. And that's the positive side of that type of trauma, is that we develop that skill. Exactly. Of reading people and reading the room, reading a situation. Take that as a positive and work on that and build on that without the trauma response.
Right.
And then the big thing too right now is trauma bonding. That's
every relationship.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm in love with you. Oh no, we just have the same bullshit. Oops. My bad.
Yeah, and I was on YouTube the other day and I saw somebody talking about how we, in spiritual circles, in the New Age stuff, another thing that happens is that we are supposed to be living our purpose and being of higher good. And I don't think what people might misunderstand, or the message that people are getting, is that there's not just one purpose.
Yeah.
We have multiple purposes in our life.
Yep.
And Abram always talks about it when he's talking to people or doing a private session with someone. What excites you? Mm-hmm. What does the energy do for you?
That's such a great temperature taking thing. What direction am I going in? Well, what excites you more? All about what you find the joy in, I think.
All about energy. Mm-hmm. So we don't have just one purpose in life.
Kind of boring if you did.
Yeah. Well, my life's been a wild ride.
Mine too.
And I'm glad I'm glad I experienced it.
And yet I sit there sometimes and go, I am just complaining over nothing. I have no trauma compared to other people. And what am I doing being all sad or affected by this when so much else is going on?
No.
This playground is hard. It is.
Yeah. But when you do that, and I've done it. I mean, I did it short term to kind of put my trauma in perspective. Mm-hmm. But trauma is trauma, and everybody's trauma is unique in how they process it. And so it's not, personally, I don't think, if you want to use that, use it temporarily. Yeah. To kind of get you like on a base reading or something like that. Yeah, but it's trauma is trauma. And it's, I don't know how to put this. When you talk to yourself like that, which I did, so I'm right there with you, is you're almost in a way denying.
Absolutely.
Yourself.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. Can you think of anything else that we haven't, we haven't covered a lot.
Not that we've solved all the world's problems.
Yes.
We can do another one on this.
Yeah, this probably,
Yeah, I think this is a continuing.
Yeah, I think so. We could do like a part 1 and a part 2.
Yeah.
Because, we're all just experiencing things as it happens. Mm-hmm. No experts here. We're just kind of mulling over our experiences. And I find it fascinating that where I started out in the New Age world is so different from where I am.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
So different. Like, I'm very Gen X about it. Like, let the world burn. It's not going to matter. Whereas before, it's like, I want to heal people. I want to do this. It's like, yeah, what's going to happen is going to happen.
First thing you got to do is heal yourself.
Exactly. And sometimes we like to avoid that by healing others.
That's right. How many people get into spirituality, the whole spiritual thing, metaphysics, who haven't taken care of their own stuff?
Exactly.
And they're and they're trying to heal themselves by healing others, and you can't heal another person. You can set the stage for them.
Help them. Yeah. Set the stage. Yeah. Yeah.
Just
I remember being asked way at the beginning of this, and maybe we were in the same class when it happened. Why do you want to do this? And everyone's response was, I want to help people. I want to do it. Why do you want to do this? Well, because nope. Why do you want to do this? Because everybody has the response that they want to help others, but that's not the reality. The reality is you're getting something out of it. And what is it that it's triggering for you?
Yeah. How does it serve you?
How does it serve you? Mm-hmm. There's no shame in that.
No, not at all.
But know what it is.
If you can look at something and figure out why you're holding on to something and how it serves you and how does that make you feel? That class was something.
It was one of the big, I gotta say, for as much that went down that wasn't part of the class, that was an education.
Mm-hmm.
What is the class you guys are? What is this class? What is it?
They were in Florida. I flew all the way from San Francisco to Florida once a month for these classes, about 7 months worth of classes.
Yeah, that's how I met Annalisa.
Oh, what kind of classes was that?
Mediumship development.
Oh. For 7 months?
I don't know if is the school still there? I think.
No. Everyone has moved on.
Yeah.
But it was right after John Edward came on the scene and he had his television show Crossing Over with John Edward, and he wrote his first book. In the back, he had given a list of psychics and mediums that he recommended, and there was one in Florida. And so I looked into it, and they were giving mediumship development, advanced mediumship development. I was at the stage at the time where I knew all of this stuff was happening, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. Even though I had had all these experiences through my lifetime, it started to be a new thing to have people show up and stand beside my bed. And I didn't know, and I wasn't seasoned in working with energy and knowing how it can change and how different it can appear to you. And so that's where I met Annalisa. I signed up for the classes. I didn't get a lot out of it. What I did get out of it was that I was on the right track, that I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Because
that you met Annalisa.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. That was our purpose.
I think so. I think a lot of it was. I have another friend, Barb, that I met through there, that a still lifelong friend. It's interesting because I think the purpose of the class that I thought I was having became a completely different purpose by the time I was over with the class. And I don't say that with any kind of anger. I appreciate that I had to learn how to boundary myself from other people's energies, how to, not take on stuff that wasn't mine, and to learn to meditate. Even though I'm not the best meditator in the world, because I can't sit still, as you obviously can see in these episodes.
Yeah, me too.
A walking meditation. I know. Exactly. Menopause has made that so much more a thing for me too. But yes, I enjoyed the teachings immensely. There was some obviously not scheduled stuff that went on that I was like, this is stuff I need to really boundary myself from. So all in all, no matter what it was a great education.
It was.
And then I got to meet incredible people that I'm still absolutely attached to.
I got out of it, I can't say never, but my time in believing certain things, like my light within me, come on. That happened for a short time, but it got to the point where I am a real skeptic, and I'm very curious, and I like to follow up on stuff and read about things. And I grew up, because of my experiences, I grew up with kind of, an FU attitude, and I don't like being told what to do. That's also trauma response.
That's so me.
I'm still like that. It serves me.
It does.
But I have the emotional intelligence and the emotional growth to temper things. There are a lot of things that I don't believe that I thought was a bunch of BS. And some of that was taught in the class. And that also put me in a place of trusting my own self. And so I'm very grateful for the class, especially having a lifelong friendship with you now.
Absolutely. I think that was, we unfortunately had a class member that unalived herself.
Oh.
And she was in class, we knew her as someone who kind of was trying, I don't know if she was pulling attention, if you would call it pulling attention, but she was always having things happen to her that made her look like she was the most amazing kind of a channel ever, when we were all kind of like, okay, whatever, she's going through her thing. But then to find out afterwards, and we weren't in class when this happened, find out afterwards all the stuff that happened to her, she was quite delusional.
Yes, she was.
We didn't know that at the time.
She was the big S.
The big S. What does that mean?
The mental illness.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I talked about it on a podcast. It might have been taken out, but I had been on the phone with her for almost daily.
Oh, but God, I forgot about that.
She was calling me. And that's when my curio cabinet, I had it in the corner. And the light never went on by itself until I started talking to her. And every time I got on the phone with her, that light would go off. Every time. It happened so much that I had to unplug it.
Good Lord. I remember you talking about the curio cabinet, but I forgot it was related to her.
And the delusion that she was having, she not only unalived herself, she unalived one of her children.
And her other child found them.
The older child found them.
Oh my God.
And
she had been talking to somebody else and asked for my opinion on something. It was a weird kind of telephone game. And it was right before she did this. And I basically didn't know it was getting back to her as bluntly as it was. But my blunt response was, this is not happening the way you think it's happening. And 'cause she had a delusion about a famous person who has passed away that was supposed to be her spiritual husband.
Yes.
And first of all, that person was gay. So it's like, okay, where are you coming from? But okay, whatever. I have crushes too. But hers was, no, I need to be with him again.
Yeah.
And she asked this other person, is there somebody else coming in my life? Like, a possible relationship. And my reading on it was, she's not going to get anywhere if she holds on to these beliefs that are not helping her and are keeping other people away. And I said she has to work on herself before she allows, just your basic, you need to work on yourself before you can allow someone else, and you need to love yourself before you can love somebody else kind of response. She was so pissed at me. She didn't ever want to speak to me again. And I'm like, I wasn't even giving you the reading. I was just giving my opinion to somebody else. And it kind of blew up in my face, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not supposed to talk to her anymore. That's fine. And then I found out shortly after what happened. It was like, oh my God.
That is so sad.
It was once she started thinking that she was married to this entertainer, it really spiraled. She
Absolutely.
really went down the rabbit hole on this one. And there wasn't anything I could do. There was nothing.
She wouldn't listen.
She wouldn't listen to anything. It was really tragic.
Yeah.
That is that's a very tragic journey for someone.
And that's not the fault of the school or anything, but the school was how she chose to develop her delusion. Not only her ability, because she did have ability. Two things at the same time. You can be schizophrenic and have ability, or you can be bipolar and have ability. Any of those things are possible. And I think we just didn't realize the extent of the illness that was happening with her.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so sad.
Yeah.
On that note.
Yeah, on that sad note.
Happiness. Toxic positivity.
Oh.
All right. Well, yes, let's continue this conversation.
Definitely. I think it's an important one because trauma is tricky. It will, just like you said, you can find trauma in the parts of the body that you're not expecting. The back of the knee, the wrist. Louise Hay has an entire lifelong career and book about where trauma hides in parts of the body and what that means. And I used to think that was like, that's a little much. But now I see it really, what she meant by it and what really happens in your body, because it's sneaky. Your brain wants to protect you. So we'll just put it over here on your arm. We'll just put it over here in your hip.
This is all natural. Any parting words I have for people, we are human beings. We are here having a human experience, and you are not alone.
Amen.
Yeah.
All righty. Annalisa, if someone wants to get in touch with you for a reading, how would they do that?
I'm an old school girl who likes emails. So it is AnnalisaB1857@gmail.com. And Annalisa has two N's, ANNALISA, B as in boy, 1857.
Terry, anything about ET stuff or,
Sure.
whatever? Is there a way people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm an email person as well. So if anybody wants to contact me, they can reach me at Terry, Terry .Scalia, SCALIA, the number 57 at gmail.com.
And you can also, we have a Facebook page. You can also go to our Facebook page. We would love to have you. And we try to post something every day, Monday through Friday. I take the weekends off. I don't do any social media at all over the weekends.
Good for you.
Yeah.
And anyone who wants to contact me, you can go to my website at www.mediumunplugged.com, or you can email me at sue@mediumunplugged.com.
Yay.
So, all right. This has been fun.
Yep.
And very thought-provoking.
Yes. So, we love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you next time.
Next time.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If this episode resonated with you, please follow, turn on notifications, and share it on your favorite social platforms. And tag us so we can grow this community together. We love you, we appreciate you, and we will see you next time.